Hello and welcome or welcome back. I'm Bo, and today we are going to judge. We're going to judge my family spending. So this particular sheet is from the budget spreadsheet that you get when you take Caleb Hammer's budgeting course. This is just one of the pages, but to me, this gives like kind of an overview of how the budget went. Now, I will say, because I've had some people make comments, right? The whole 50-30-20 thing, like I think it's fantastic. But it is not set up for envelope style budgeters. It is set up for people who track their actual expenses, and don't like save up for things other than like the emergency fund. I struggled trying to figure out how to make it reflect savings and savings spent in a realistic way where it would look reasonable kind of on the sheet. It did not work for me. So what we're doing, me and Wen, is we are just doing what we actually spend, like what actually leaves our bank accounts. So 50-30-20, if you didn't know, it's this idea that to live within your means, you should spend 50% on needs, 30% on wants, 20% on saving and investing. Problem with that is if you don't make a lot, it can skew the numbers like by a lot. Also, if you have a lot of debt with high minimum payments, it can skew the numbers a lot towards needs. We are some of those people. Our income is not huge, and it varies greatly. And so like the numbers get thrown off a lot. But all that being said, let's get into judging our spending. So this month, in the month of May, and this counts 6 weeks because I am a paycheck budgeter, I spent $3,836 on needs, which is 56.7% of my spending. We spent, oh, goodness gracious. I keep saying it's both of us, right? But I'm the only one who's here currently. We spent $985 on wants, which is 14.6% of our spending, and then $1,947 on investments, and that's 28.8% of our spending. So when I say investments, and in this idea of saving and investing, what I mean is any money that leaves my bank account in a way to increase my net worth, or any money that leaves our bank accounts in order to increase our net worth. So for this $1,947, that is what I sent to, or what we sent, good grief, I'm sorry, y'all, what we sent to debt extra payments, because to us, the minimum payments are a need. The minimum payments are not increasing our net worth necessarily. They're so that we don't get in trouble and don't get sent to collections. So this 28.8% represents extra debt payments. Once we're done with extra debt payments, which will be once our debts are all below 4%, then this will switch to a focus of investing, like actual investing, like in the stock market and bonds and everything. So for now, this investments will always mean extra debt payments for us. I considered, and one of the things that we were hearing and reading in the budget course was that you should count emergency fund savings. But the problem with that is once those emergency fund savings are spent, what do? You count that as negative investments? I was very fuzzy about that and it didn't really make sense to me. So that is why we decided to do things this way. And then the other bit of analysis that they use in this course here is the happiness score. And again, we're doing things a little different. But it's what makes the most sense to us. And really, the whole point of analysis is so that you can look at how you're spending and think of ways to improve it. So you don't necessarily need to do things in the same way that other people do it, as long as you are analyzing your spending and adjusting as needed. That's literally like that's what's in the course, y'all. Things don't have to be exactly the way you're told, as long as you're improving and you're making progress. And you're using this analysis as a tool to make progress. So, again, this little chart here is your happiness score here. So for us, a score of 3 is the most happiness, right? How happy we are to spend that money. And most of what we spent was needs, and most of that was things that we are happy to spend money on. And that's fine. That's normal. We try to limit spending money on things that aren't important to us, which you're kind of forced to do when you're on a limited income and you have a lot of debt. So that is kind of that. I did want to take a look at the monthly closeout budget here, the closed out monthly budget, just to see like what these numbers mean exactly. I don't know if you noticed, but I do put which kind of categories all of our spending is on here, so that it's easier to see what we're spending the most money on. And our wants this month were a lot higher than they are normally, partially because, this was a magic month. We did get our tax returns back. So we had a lot of excess money. We had a lot of money that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And we did use that to have some fun. Now, we still kept that fun to under 15% of our spending, which is actually, we'd spent less than half of what the 50-30-20 recommends. But of course, that is because we are in a lot of debt. So we're trying to make progress more than we're trying to have fun. But the fun that we did have did fit into that range, which is kind of important to us. It's very important to us. Now, we do want to keep the wants under 10% in the future though, because of course regular months are not gonna have us have our needs this low. Our needs were only this low in comparison in our spending because we had that extra paycheck and we had our tax returns. So on a regular basis, we want to keep our wants under 10%. And that means there are a few categories in particular that we need to keep low. So that would be adventures, even though, time spent with kids is really important. And I don't necessarily think that should be limited too much. But I do think that there are a lot of inexpensive and or free options to spend time with the kids outside of the house. So this is not necessarily something that we need to spend a lot of money on. Miscellaneous, that's kind of the impulse area there. So we're trying not to spend a whole lot of money there. And the happiness score of 2 means we have mixed feelings about spending that money, and the W of course means want, and it's not necessary. And there may be other options that we can use that make more sense that cost less money. And then what's another one? Another one is personal. I do want to limit this as much as reasonable. I can't and don't want to like eliminate my fun because, as I've said many times before, the debt that we are in right now is not actually my debt. However, I don't pay rent. I don't pay utilities. My contribution is in our stability. So keeping our spending kind of in check is my job. Which is why all of the like variable expenses pretty much, except for the things specifically for the kids, why those are all under my bank account because I'm kind of better at looking at how we're spending and adjusting as we go. When I love this man dearly, he has a bad habit of having a lot of small transactions that add up to a lot without him realizing. So like I generally, I do better with this. Also, if child support ever needs to be recalculated, it's important for his bank statements to reflect how much is actually being spent on the kids, because reasons. Child support court is not somewhere where he really wants to go again, but if it does happen, it would be better if things were a little clearer as to what his responsibilities are. So the things that he would be responsible if he lived on his own, the things he would be responsible for, he's still responsible for the most part. I do pitch in, like before he had, sorry, this is getting long, but before he had savings for his kids, not on the screen, before he had savings for his kids, if his kids needed clothes, if he didn't have the money, I would buy it. He bought as much as he could, but he literally like overdrew his account a couple times. So, in order to keep things more stable, I'm the variable expense person. And then all he has to worry about is the kids and paying like the household bills. So it works out. He does his part. I love him dearly. He's doing great. He's doing way better than he was. And he has way more money than he's had in quite a while. So we are very pleased with how this arrangement is going. But I've said in the comments, the things don't necessarily have to be balanced to be fair. It may seem like a lot that I'm the one who's putting all this extra money towards his debt, but I paid $19.47 towards his debt. He paid the rent, so he ends up spending like more of his money like on a monthly basis than I do, because I'm the stability. He's the, I don't know, breadwinner? You want to look at it like that? I don't know how this goes. I make more money than him sometimes. He makes more money than me sometimes. We make it work. We're very happy with the scenario, and we've made great progress, and I'm happy about it. If you have any like questions or comments, or you think there is a way for me to explain this a little better, or if there's some other metric that you would like to know, like I have no problem being 100% transparent. We have no problem being 100% transparent, because there aren't enough people who really talk about their money and how to make things work in a family. Especially like with a blended family, because, as I've said before, Wynn's kids are not my kids. They aren't my kids. And I don't think there are very many budgeters out here. And if you know one, if you know of a budgeter out here who's budgeting with their partner while their partner has kids that aren't theirs, let us sister know. Let us sister know. I'd be very interested in watching that because I don't think there are very many, or at least I haven't found them. And I think it's very beneficial to see how other people make life work. So I'm pretty sure that's it. That's all. I have to go pick up groceries before the kids get home. I love you so much. I appreciate you for staying as long as you did. Never forget that you deserve financial stability, and I hope you have a great day on purpose. Bye.